You told me the family cruise was booked for everyone, I said. Oops, we forgot you had kids, my sister replied from the dock. So, I clicked Remove Cabin Access and filed for full refund. 20 minutes later, my sister yelled, What did you do? I replied, My name's Marcus. I'm 36, the oldest child, the fixer, the guy who always knows the customer service number and the fastest way to talk to a human. I work in project logistics, which is a fancy way of saying I make chaos behave. I have 2 kids, Nora, 8, and Theo, 5. I'm divorced but on good terms with my ex. Every birthday, every school form, the printer jammed at 11 p.m. Emergency, people call me. I'm the one who shows up. Saturday morning, I showed up at the port with 2 small backpacks, 2 excited kids, and a knot in my stomach I kept pretending was just coffee. All week my family group chat had been loud. Memes, dress code reminders, jokes about gaining 5 pounds on the buffet. I told myself the tension I felt was nerves. First big family vacation since the divorce. First time my parents, my sister, and I would be in one place for longer than a rushed brunch. We rolled our suitcases past a line of families taking photos under a giant banner. Nora squeezed my hand. Daddy, is the pool open right away? Theo hopped like a spring. Can I see the slide? Can I see it now? We found my sister at the dock rail. Jenna, younger by 4 years. Big sunglasses, bigger energy. She saw me and did that 2-finger wave that says, I'm busy being important. You told me the family cruise was booked for everyone, I said, keeping my voice level. Cabins connected. One for me and the kids. One for you. One for mom and dad. Jenna's smile didn't reach her eyes. Oops, she said, twisting her mouth like she'd eaten a lemon and wanted the world to applaud. We forgot you had kids. I laughed, then realized she wasn't joking. Excuse me. They flagged the kids, she said, as if she were talking about luggage. It's kind of, well, the itinerary changed. There's an adults-only pool deck restriction for the block we got. Don't worry. There's a kids' club waitlist. Waitlist? Nora stopped smiling. Theo's hand went cold in mine. Jenna shrugged. Just for the first couple of days. Anyway, we already turned in our boarding forms. You'll figure it out. Mom appeared, smoothing her cardigan like she could iron the moment flat. Marcus, don't make a scene. I'm trying to understand, I said. Who booked the rooms? Jenna smiled again, brighter, faker. Me. Obviously. They preferred one contact, and you're always so busy. So I handled it. I looked at the bracelet on her wrist, the cruise line logo, the little silver ship. Matching one on my mom. Matching one on my dad. The kind you pick up after check-in. My kids didn't have bracelets. I didn't either. Where are our passes? I asked. Jenna tilted her head. About that, the system wouldn't let me add children to our block. You know how these packages are. But it'll be fine. Go to guest services and ask. Maybe they can squeeze you in somewhere. We're already pre-boarding for the spa tour. Theo tugged my sleeve. Daddy, do we get bracelets? I looked at my sister. At the ship. At the line of families moving forward. Then at the locked look in Jenna's face, the one I knew from childhood. We already decided without you. Why didn't you call me? I asked. Her mouth twitched. Because every time I call you, you give me a speech. I thought you'd be grateful. For being excluded? My dad loomed behind my mom, hands in pockets, voice heavy. Son, let it go. We're going to miss our slot. Nora's voice was small. Are we not going? Jenna leaned in, sunglasses glinting. It's just logistics, Marcus. Don't be dramatic. I stared at the ship a long beat. The smell of fuel. The gulls. The kids' backpacks warm in my hands. 20 minutes later, when Jenna texted the group chat, boarded. Drinks. Who? I didn't follow. I watched the last wave crash against the dock and felt something in me go very, very still. Behind me, Theo whispered, Daddy. I knelt to his height and smoothed his hair. We're okay, I said. I promise. A dock loudspeaker crackled. People cheered. The ship horn blared. That was the trigger. That was the sentence I couldn't swallow. We forgot you had kids. I repeated under my breath. My phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a text. It was a charge. And I remembered exactly who paid the deposit. I didn't move. Not yet. I just watched the ship and breathed. And I let the quiet harden into a decision that would change the rest of my year. It didn't start at the dock. It never does. It starts in smaller rooms with softer voices. When our dad had his surgery last year, I took a week off and slept on a hospital chair that felt like a folding ladder. Jenna posted a black and white photo of her holding Dad's hand with the caption, Family is everything, and got 200 likes. I changed his wound dressings and figured out which pharmacy had the generic at half cost. Nobody liked that. There's no heart reaction for a spreadsheet. Growing up, Jenna learned to be the favorite, loud, shiny, self-promoting. I learned to be useful. If a faucet leaked, I fixed it. If a teacher confused forms, I wrote the email. When money was tight, I picked up side gigs and slid the difference to mom's account. When Jenna's car got repossessed, I paid the impound fees just this once. It happened 3 times. We called it family. What it was, I was a walking buffer. The cruise idea started with mom's birthday. 70. We should all go. Jenna announced in the chat, sending a link to a glossy video of sunsets and giant water slides. Group rate. If we snag it this week, it's so cheap. I ran numbers. I can swing it if the kids are included. I wrote. 2 cabins. Connected. I'll cover mine. I'll put the deposit down today to lock it. Marcus. Jenna posted balloons. Hero. I paid the deposit on my card. The cruise line broke it into chunks. Booking fee now. Balance due 6 weeks out. I asked for receipts to be forwarded to my email. Jenna said the system was being weird and asked if she could be primary contact just for forms. I said fine, because I was juggling a deadline and because trusting your sister shouldn't require a legal review. 2 days later, she added a surprise detour, private beach day. My gift, she wrote. She attached a photo of cabanas with curtains like wedding veils. I asked if kids were allowed. She sent a winky face and said they'll love the sand. Little things started to tilt. She moved our dinner time to the late seating because the early slot is for toddlers. She swapped our floor because mom gets seasick if she's not midship. Each change pinged my card as adjustment, minimal. I didn't argue. I was tired. Then came the group chat pressure. Marcus, can you also pay the gratuities up front? It's easier if one person does it, Jenna said. I'll Venmo you later. I typed and erased 3 times. Okay, I'll pay, but I need everyone's part before final payment. Mom chimed in with the classic line. You know we're good for it. We are not, I thought. But I was taught to keep the peace. I covered the balance and set calendar reminders to collect. I sent polite nudges. Jenna sent gifs of ducks wearing sunglasses. After payday, she wrote. Payday came and went. 3 weeks out, Jenna messaged me directly. Quick thing. The ship upgraded our block to the Serenity deck because they loved my story about mom's birthday. Isn't that sweet? The Serenity deck. Adults only. Jenna. I wrote. The kids. She took 8 hours to respond. They'll have so much fun in the club. It's supervised. They're 8 and 5. I checked. Nora is eligible. Theo's borderline, but they make exceptions. Borderline. It's fine, she wrote. Don't nitpick. You make everything hard. I called. She didn't pick up. Later, she left me a voice note with fake cheer. Hey, just saw this. I'm at a nail appointment. You're overthinking. Let me handle the fun stuff. You handle whatever it is you handle. 2 days later, my card got hit for priority boarding packages and welcome cocktails. We don't drink. Why did you add that? I texted. Jenna. It's a vibe. Me. Remove it. Jenna. Already processed. Chill. I sat at my kitchen table with my budget open. My kids coloring beside me, and felt the outline of a decision I didn't want to make. I've always believed you can set boundaries without blowing up the bridge. But what if the bridge only exists to move money from you to someone else? On Thursday, I met mom for coffee. I tried to explain. I want this to work, but the deck change puts us on different floors. The kids are the point. It's a family trip. Mom stirred sugar like it owed her rent. Your sister planned this whole thing. Just say thank you. I paid, I said gently. She looked offended. Don't throw money in our faces. I'm throwing facts, I said. We're not on the same deck. The kids won't have pool access with you. Mom exhaled. Can't you let your sister have one nice thing without poking holes? It was wild to hear one nice thing after years of me quietly plugging holes no one else admitted existed. I changed tactics. Let's just make sure we're all together. I can call guest services. Mom waved a hand. Marcus, stop. It's handled. Friday night, I packed the kids' swimsuits and 3 types of sunscreen, because somehow that has always been my job, and I told myself I was being paranoid. At 9 p.m., a new charge hit my card. Cabin reassignment fee. I called Jenna again. No answer. A minute later, she texted, can't talk, spray tan. I didn't sleep. My stomach felt like a locked fist. At 5 a.m., I made pancakes and pretended to be excited. At 7, we loaded the car. At 9:30, we rolled our suitcases to the dock. And at 10:05, my sister told me, oops, we forgot you had kids, like my children were a footnote that could be edited out of the document. Behind the scenes, there was something worse. I wasn't just excluded. I was being positioned to pay and disappear. While I stood at the rail, my phone kept buzzing. $28 here, $56 there. Sail away cocktail. Thermal sweet pass. Stateroom sparkling amenity. My card. My money. For a trip that didn't include my kids. The problem wasn't the cruise. The problem was the system. Jenna decides, Marcus funds, Mom blesses, Dad says, don't make a scene, and I swallow it. The scene swallows me back. When Nora asked, do we get bracelets? I felt something in me split clean. Not like this, I said. Not anymore. I told myself not to act angry. Don't text the group chat in all caps. Don't call Jenna names. Anger is easy to dismiss. Facts aren't. So I opened the cruise line app. Everything was there. The booking I paid, the changes I hadn't approved, the note that said primary contact, Jenna. A button labeled manage guests. Another labeled onboard charges, pre-authorized. My phone vibrated with a voice message from Jenna. We're in the Champagne Lounge. Marcus, if you're not going to come on, can you at least answer a question? They need your card for Mom's internet package. Quick. Thanks. I didn't answer. I tapped onboard charges. A list appeared. Cabin 9124. Jenna $112 beverage credit applied. $0 due. Cabin 9122. Parents $112 beverage credit applied. $0 due. Cabin 10136. Marcus status pending. Guests not checked in. I scrolled. There was an option tucked under the total I'd never looked at before. Restrict spending privileges and revoke cabin access for non-checked-in guests. It would have been so easy to slam it, to hit the nuclear button out of spite. That wasn't the point. The point was the principle. I'm not paying for a party that erased my children. Daddy, Nora tugged my sleeve. Are we in trouble? No, I said. We're fixing it. I walked to the end of the dock where the signal was clearest and called the cruise line. The hold music chirped. Theo traced a gull with his finger. Thank you for calling, a human voice said. How can I assist? Primary on a group booking, I said. There's a problem. Kids are excluded against the original terms. I paid the deposit and balance. I need to remove myself as sponsor for cabins not traveling with my party and request a refund due to non-compliant changes. May I verify your information? I verified. She pulled up the record. She read out the notes. I see adjustments made by a secondary contact last week. I do see a deck change to an adults-only block. Right, I said. And you're traveling with minors. Yes. She was quiet for a second. I'm so sorry. That shouldn't have been done without the primary's confirmation. I can annotate a material change exception and submit the cabins you funded but are not occupying for a refund. It will cancel their access until payment is reestablished. I pictured Jenna with her matching bracelet, sliding onto a bar stool like she owned the ship. Please proceed, I said. Be advised, the rep continued. The other cabins will receive a message that their sponsorship has been removed. They can re-add a card immediately. If they don't, their keys won't open stateroom doors or process charges. So it's not stranding them. It's just making them pay for what they're using. Exactly. My hand steadied. Do it. While she processed, I opened the family group chat. I didn't yell. I posted screenshots, the invoices, the adults-only note. I wrote one paragraph, simple. I paid for a family trip. You changed it to exclude my children. I will not fund a vacation that discards them. I've withdrawn my sponsorship. You can add your own card to your cabins at the desk. If you'd like to discuss, meet me at the dock. I'll be here with my kids for the next 30 minutes. Then we're making other plans. Within seconds, the dots appeared. Mom first. Marcus, stop this drama. Dad, we are already on board. Don't embarrass yourself. Jenna, what did you do? I didn't respond. The cruise rep came back. Okay, Mr. Hale, I've removed your payment method from cabins 9122 and 9124. I've submitted the refund request for your cabin due to non-compliant itinerary change. You'll get a confirmation email. Thank you, I said. My voice sounded flat even to me. My phone started ringing. Mom. Then Dad. Then unknown. Then Jenna. Finally, a text from an unknown number. This is guest services. Your party needs you to come fix the payment. I typed back. No. Then Jenna's caps lock came through. What did you do? I pictured her at the counter, the smile gone, the tone sharp, the staff unamused. I kept my reply boring. I stopped paying for you. She sent 9 bubble bursts in a row. Marcus. Mom called from the gangway above, voice tight, like I was an employee taking an unauthorized break. Come aboard. We'll talk in the lounge. I looked up at them. Jenna with her sunglasses pushed into her hair. Mom with her performative outrage. Dad with his hands still in his pockets. No, I said. We'll talk here. Jenna rolled her eyes. You are so petty. Add the card back. You already paid. Why throw a fit at the finish line? Because there is no we in a trip that pretends my kids don't exist, I said. Say it out loud, Jenna. You switched decks to adults only. You knew. She opened her mouth. Closed it. The upgrade was a gift. Don't punish us for taking care of Mom. Punish. I said calm. I kept my end. You moved the goalposts and expected the same wallet. You're ruining Mom's birthday, she said. From the app, a red banner slid across the top. Sponsorship removed. Please visit guest services. I screenshot it for the chat's benefit. Dad finally raised his voice, the way he only does when I stop being convenient. Son, enough. Put your card back and we'll sort it later. I felt my chest loosen in a way I didn't recognize. Later is how we got here. Jenna switched tactics. If you don't fix this, we'll miss sail away. Do you really want your mother crying? Theo's small voice piped up. Grandma doesn't cry. She yells. Nora squeezed my hand. Can we go now? This was the break. Not the refund request. Not the screenshot. The sentence. Can we go now? It made the next step easy. I put my phone back to my ear. One more question, I asked the rep quietly. If I cancel my cabin entirely due to the change, can I get a full refund to the original method? Yes, she said. With the notes I've added, yes. Please finalize, I said. And thank you for your help this morning. I hung up. I looked up at my family for the last time that day. Marcus, Mom shouted. What did you do? I answered in the same tone I use when I'm explaining a process at work to someone who believes rules are optional. I stopped treating my wallet like community property. Jenna's mouth hardened. You're going to regret this. I smiled a little. No, I'm going to lunch. And then I turned my back on the ship horn, on the bracelets, on the adults-only deck, on the script I'd been handed since I was 10. Be useful, not loud. Pay first, ask later. Don't make a scene. I took my kids' hands and we walked. We didn't go home. I didn't want the day to taste like failure every time I thought of it. We drove 20 minutes down the coast to a little motel with a faded sign and a manager who slid crayons across the counter without asking. I paid in cash. The room smelled like salt and old carpet. The kids climbed onto the beds and bounced, laughing. And then we walked to a taco stand where the salsa came in plastic cups with handwritten labels. Hot, hotter, regret. Over lunch, Nora asked the question I'd been bracing for. Are they mad? Yes, I said. Honesty. They're very mad. Did we do something wrong? Theo asked. No, I said. We just showed them our boundary. Like when we don't let kids cut the line at the slide? Nora said. Exactly like that, I said. My phone pulsed all afternoon. Messages rolled in like weather. Mom alternated between guilt, your poor mother is humiliated, and threat, we will never forget this. Dad sent 2 sentences. You need help. I'm disappointed in you. Jenna's were a spray of accusations. Selfish. Petty. Grow up. I'll never forgive you. Then came the relatives. An aunt I hadn't heard from in months. Your mother is in tears. A cousin. I wouldn't have done that to my sister. Another. You stranded them. I responded once to the group. The staff told you clearly how to add your own card at the counter. You chose not to. That isn't stranding. That's adulthood. Then I turned off notifications. 2 hours later, the cruise line emailed. Refund initiated. Another email. Your request has been approved due to material change. The numbers were neat, factual. Deposit, balance, taxes, fees. The words that mattered most were simple. Back to my card. By sunset, I had booked a different plan. Not a cruise. Not a grand gesture. A 3-night cabin at a lakeside campground 2 hours inland. The photos promised kayaks, a fire pit, and a laundry room that took quarters. No bracelets, no adults-only anything. I texted my ex, Elise. Change of plans. Can I keep the kids through Wednesday if I plan something safe and fun? Her reply was a minute later, no drama, like oxygen. Of course. Are they okay? They're good, I wrote. We all are. At the motel pool, Nora practiced floating and Theo practiced splash cannonballs. I sat on a plastic chair and stared at my phone, thumb hovering over the group chat icon, the old reflex curling in my hand. If I open it, I fix it. If I fix it, nothing changes. I put the phone face down and watched my kids instead. The next morning, we drove to the lake. The water was the color of bottle glass. A pair of ducks patrolled the shore like mall cops. We rented a kayak and let the kids argue over who got to shout, "Captain." We ate peanut butter sandwiches on the dock and told knock-knock jokes that didn't land, and it was better than a buffet could ever be because it was ours. Meanwhile, On the ship, the drama finally began to leak the other way. Jenna's friend Julia, the one who lives for Instagram, posted a story from a hallway with the caption, "Of course this would happen to us." Behind her, you could hear Mom's voice at full tilt. "We are family. Does that mean nothing to you people?" A minute later, another story. "When guest services says you need your own CC, but your brother ruined everything." A poll under it. Team Jenna or Team Scrooge? I didn't vote. A cousin DM'd me privately. "They're telling everyone you canceled the whole cruise because the kids couldn't swim near them at the quiet pool." I wrote back, "They booked an adults-only block without telling me. That quiet pool was the plan all along." My cousin sent a single word, "Yikes." Then, for what it's worth, I'm with you. By day 2, the family chat shifted from fury to fractures. Dad complained in the chat about the prices now that everything's a la carte. Mom snapped that the internet was slow because Marcus always handled the tech. Jenna posted a photo with a cocktail and wrote, "Unbothered." Then posted 3 more stories complaining about lines. An aunt, the kind who always says, "We will talk about this later," finally posted. This could have been an email. It made me laugh harder than it should have. On the second night by the lake, we made s'mores. Nina melted chocolate on the graham with surgical focus. Theo burned his marshmallow black, blew it out, and declared it crunchy delicious. The kids smelled like smoke and sugar. It felt like the inside of my chest finally unclenched. Still, the withdrawal aches came in waves. I would catch myself picturing Mom's face, Dad's sigh, Jenna's performative pout, and anger would surge behind my ribs. Then I'd breathe and let it pass. My therapist, yes, I booked one after the divorce, once told me, "When you set a boundary, expect the tantrum." It's data. That sentence kept me steady. On the 3rd morning, a new number texted me. "Mr. Hale, this is the cruise line. A member of your party asked if you could temporarily re-add your card to resolve a room lockout. We informed them that due to previous changes, you are no longer the sponsor. We just wanted to confirm you did not authorize any re-add." "Confirmed," I wrote. Then I added, because I wanted it in the file, "Please notate that children were excluded from the block via deck reassignment after payment. I will not sponsor cabins that blocked minors." "Understood," the rep wrote back. Noted. It was such a small thing. Just words in a system. But reading "noted" made me feel like I'd planted a flag somewhere official that said, "I exist. My kids exist. The rules apply." Elise drove up to meet us for our last afternoon. We sat on the cabin steps while the kids constructed a complicated rock game they insisted had rules. I told her the whole story without editing. She listened and nodded. "I'm proud of you," she said finally. Not for being angry, for being clear. I swallowed. It was the first time the word "proud" had been attached to any action I took that wasn't quietly paying for something. On the drive back, I turned my phone on to check directions. At the top of my notifications was a final volley from Mom. An old photo of me on a tricycle, captioned, "You were a sweet boy once." I stared at it a second, then deleted it. Telling me I used to be easy was not the flex she thought it was. We got home. I did laundry and put the kids' damp swimsuits on the bathroom rod and folded clean towels into neat stacks that made me feel like I controlled something. That night, I blocked the family group chat. Not forever, just a pause. I set my phone on the counter. The apartment felt quiet in the way I associate with snow, even though it was early summer. I slept like I hadn't in months. 2 days later, my refund posted in full. The number looked like proof. Not because of the money, though yeah, the money matters, but because for once, the outcome matched the boundary. I said no. The world didn't end. We ate s'mores. The kids laughed. The ship sailed without me like a smooth metaphor I didn't need anymore. The fallout continued elsewhere. Jenna tried to rally the relatives into a petition titled, "Marcus owes Mom an apology." An uncle replied, "He doesn't." Another wrote, "Pay your own bills." Quietly, the dynamic shifted. Not for everyone, and not in a movie montage way, but enough that the next time someone reached for my wallet through the side door of the good son narrative, they found it locked.